Sweet.
All right.
So excited.
I mean, I saw the video how it looked. It looks so beautiful, like behind us.
Amazing.
It's so nice. This Tulum, and it's just
It's a vibe.
it's so beautiful. I mean, we're so not great, like lucky and fortunate to be here, and enjoying this beautiful, amazing space, amazing weather. You want to just like,
Should we tune in with an oil?
oh, so what is this?
So this is a blend of essential oils.
Okay.
Pretty much it's a concentration of different plants. So this is a blend with wild orange, lavender, copaiba, which is a resin, spearmint. I'm going to put some on your hand.
Okay. Oh.
And you're just going to rub your palms together. Careful not to get in your eyes.
Wow, I smell it. It's super.
It's really strong. Yeah, this is like 70% times stronger than herbs. So that's what's cool about oils is you're getting like,
Wow.
all in one. Just bring it to your face.
Okay.
Just take deep inhales. And I love opening any new experience in my life in the moment with an oil or grounding before I start.
Yeah.
It
So
really helps me tune in.
yeah, I mean, I think the smell and the sensation helps tie that in maybe to the memory. Is that how it works, or?
Yeah, it does actually. It goes straight to the amygdala and it does go to our memory center, but it also helps us become present.
Ooh.
So it's exactly what you're saying with the senses, which is something I've been exploring a little bit before I came to Tulum, was how our senses affect our health, affect our presence, our well-being, and it's been a journey unfolding here in Tulum. Learning about the senses and how my offerings can really help us tune deeper into who we are. And
Yeah, I think that a lot of us are lacking in the sensory department because we're so focused on the logical side, on the what is the hemispheres? Which one is the left and the right?
so the left side is logical and then the right side is more ethereal. It's like playful. Yeah, it is right.
Right
left.
side. So I always thought that since
backwards?
the right side is the playful creative side and the left side is the analytical side.
Am I saying it backwards?
No, because when you write, like most of us are right-handed
But it's the opposite.
and it's the opposite. So the left side is
Logical.
the logical side
Yeah.
because we're writing and
Exactly.
we're writing, so we're logical. And then the left side, which is what most people are not really good at using, is the artistic side, the creative side, the passionate side.
And it's also
Left.
the feminine. It's the
Oh, the
feminine and the
feminine.
masculine.
The right side of the brain is the feminine and the left side is the masculine. Or
I
one
mean,
of
it's
those, one of
you
those.
could break it down like that totally. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a balance, right? You have the yin and the yang.
Okay.
It's exactly what we are.
Yeah, I think that I was also hearing that we, as men or as women, we think that women are have feminine energy and men have masculine energy, but we both have both energies. It's just a mixture and it's different. We use it differently. I don't know how it works. Can you?
We're both.
We're
We are
both.
we are masculine and feminine energy, and it's actually really interesting learning about it because my perception in the past of what masculine and feminine energy was the opposite of what I've learned it to be. And so I thought when I first learned about this concept through emotional awareness and self-discovery, was that the masculine energy is very forward and driven and strong, and it's like going and it's just like that like driving force, right? And then the feminine is very receptive and it's receiving and it's like calm and clear. And so I was working really hard because my son is in Leo and I just like this very fiery, strong energy. So I was working really hard for the last few years to be more in my feminine and be more like chill and receiving. And then I realized this through a book and some posts I've been reading about. The feminine energy actually is turbulent and it's wild and it's completely crazy and it's chaotic and it doesn't have structure. And the masculine is extremely grounded and solid and receiving because it allows the feminine to be wild.
Oh, really?
It blew my mind, right? Isn't
I
that
always
crazy?
thought it was something different, like the opposite or something.
Me too.
And wow, that's good to know. I never think of it like that. I always think about just feminine and masculine energy, and I think that like most men have a lot of issues with dealing with their feminine energy, right? Or is it also the same for females
Totally.
dealing with their masculine
Yeah.
energy?
Yeah, and it's also our environment where we were raised and how we were raised, our parents. Because you'll meet people that are really in their masculine, men, and also men that are really in their feminine.
Mm.
And same with women. You'll find women who are really in their masculine and also really in their feminine. And I think that our era and our generation, you know, we saw the woman rise and be independent, and I got this, and I can do this, and I'm a boss babe, and I can lead the family, and that's amazing. However, I have also seen and observed how that's affected men and how that's affected the role that men have in relationships and in the household. And for us to really have a divine sacred union, like there has to be space for both.
Right.
And if the woman is taking the role of the man, it's almost emasculating to the man.
Yeah.
It's almost emasculating, or it also like takes out their role in sacred partnership.
Maybe that's why a lot of men also feel lost a bit. They also feel they don't know their place anymore, and they're kind of like, well, you know, what am I supposed to do? They don't really have also any male role models to look up to, and they're just kind of wandering around, and now it's the females are kind of like taking the role and taking charge, and seeing that, hey, like the man doesn't have the what is it, the drive or the way to kind of, like when you're dancing, the men is supposed to take the lead, for example. Yeah. And men aren't taking the lead anymore. I mean, we kind of have our jobs where we're thought we have to pay for everything and provide a financial stability, but still we're still lost in the sense of we don't know how to guide our partners anymore. We don't know how to use our emotional energy in a positive way to steer the relationship.
Totally. And I have a little bit of a hypothesis with that, in seeing how women, again, a lot of single moms, you know, I can only imagine what that's like for them. My mom was a single mom. With her husband died when my brother was like 6 months, and she had to raise him by herself. You know, she went back to her family until she met my dad, and she was really nurturing with my brother to the point that when she passed, he didn't like really, it's like she was his everything, and like did so much for him that was his rock.
Right.
So to a degree, it's like, how much nurture and how much support do we want to provide our children? Obviously, we want them to be safe and have their needs met, and, you know, the space for them to grow. But then how much is it to where it's overly dominating, I guess, to where they can't be independent and just kind of know how to lead their own?
Yeah, I don't know. What would you say is, I mean, the name of your Instagram is Feed Me Health.
Yeah.
What is it? What's healthy for you? What is that? Where does that come from?
So it's a great question. Feed Me Health came, I created this when I was like maybe 18 or 19 years old. I was really seeking to create something that would be nurturing for others and helping them find their own self-nurture and self-care. So it's like Feed Me Health. Okay. That's really where it came from. It's like, I'm feeding you this information, so you feed me, you feed yourself health, and you learn how to like do it yourself and be independent and really spread your own wings, right? Okay. That's my goal with my mission, is to empower others.
To empower others. So basically you're feeding them health, but in a sense they're also feeding themselves. So you're giving them the nourishment that they need. Yeah,
the tools, resources, education. It's something that it's really fun for me. I've always wanted to be in front of the camera, but not necessarily. I've done acting. I actually did acting when I was younger. I've done like some commercials, but I wanted to go deeper and have like a message with being in front of the camera, and I enjoy it. It's really fun. And health is just something that in my own personal journey, I was like, wow, this is everything. This is vitality. This is life. This is our essence.
So health, what is health? Like, what's healthy?
So the way I've learned to understand it, it's feeling balanced in who we are.
I like that.
It's feeling
you know what's strange? I've never heard it said that way, but that's so simple, but it's it's so right. It's balance.
Yeah.
It's
Homeostasis.
homeostasis. Yeah. Wow. I never heard of it that way. But I mean, I've also looked at Ayurvedic medicine and Chinese medicine. It's about balancing. But
Exactly.
but when you just said it right now, I've never heard it just said so simply and so purely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, mind, body, and spirit too, right? It's not just your lab results. It's not just having a strong body. It's not just having good digestion, because what I've realized over the years too, it's like our mental and spiritual state, like that's the true essence.
Mhm.
And when you're in a good vibrational state with your own spirit and with who you are, everything else is going to reflect that. And so your body, the physical side of us, is a reflection of our spiritual and emotional state, because we are the creators of our reality.
So does our physical affect our spiritual side? I mean,
It can, but I think our spirit and our emotional state has a direct effect on our physical. And people think it's backwards, right? So I fell and I hurt myself. Now my spirit is down. Now my emotions are down. But what was my emotional state before I fell? What was I doing that created the need for my body to be hurt and say, slow down?
So you
right?
think that you created that situation where you fell?
We are the creators of everything.
So you're saying that everything that happens in our lives, we're the ones creating, whether it's...
We're co-creating it.
We're
co-creating with spirit, with life, with God, the universe, 100,000%.
Okay, nice.
We are the creators. And that can be almost scary to people, because that asks us to take ownership and responsibility for everything that we're doing.
I feel like a lot of people don't want to take responsibility for things. So they want to say that, no, these things happen to me. They're out of my control.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is that actually, no, everything that's happened to you is within your control. Actually, you're the one responsible for everything that's happened in your life.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's also, I mean, it's a mind-blowing thing, but it's also an awakening. It's you're the one creating your life.
And to tie it all back, I think last year with the pandemic, we've seen more people numbing and more people choosing to do drugs and alcohol and just like pop pills and just escape, right? Or like escape the reality of what we collectively have created, right? Because it's to say like, well, why did I create this reality? Like, why am I in a pandemic? Well, we all created it because we are all one, right? And so now that polarity, because everything is polar, just like masculine, feminine, yin and yang, we have those that are going deeper into numbing and those that are waking up. So those that are becoming more sensitive to who we are.
So you're seeing the world is becoming more polarized, or where more extremes, where it's been more polarized.
Yeah, it's been becoming that.
Yeah. Why do you say that? Is it because we're choosing it, or?
I think it's part of the process.
Okay.
I personally think it's part of the process. For some reason, about 10 years ago, I understood that there was a new earth coming, a new world coming. I didn't know what the details looked like. I just remember tapping into communities that were really conscious. And for so long, when I discovered health and that I wanted to work in health, I was wanting to work in more holistic health and alternative health, because the Western system is not the best for every single problem that we have, right?
Right. It has specific things that it can handle.
Exactly.
But it's only specific. It's not the entire holistic view.
Exactly. And so for a long time, I was like wanting to fight the system and be like, well, the way you're doing it, it's not like this. We need to do it that way. And I was like going at it from that angle of like trying to change something that simply is, until my friend, dear friend, not sure if you know him, Kevin Walton, Source Radiance on Instagram. He was like, well, why do we have to try to fight the system? Why don't we just create a new one?
Ooh.
And I was like, Kevin, like, yeah. And I'm going to be leading like this revolution of like self-healing through our own conscious awareness. And so that's kind of where my path has really guided me. And then last year when the pandemic happened, I sat in a really beautiful peyote ceremony. And I just literally saw the 3D world crumble before my very eyes right in March, like in the beginning of March. And I was like, oh shit, Like, this is the beginning. This is the new earth is forming right now.
Wow.
And we are the creators, and we are the ones to step into showing a new path and showing a new way for others.
So can you talk about more of this peyote ceremony? How do you pronounce it?
Peyote.
Peyote.
Mm-hmm.
So for people who don't know what it is or
Yeah.
don't know what it's like, or
Yeah, so it's a plant medicine. It's a cactus. It comes originally from Mexico area, this region. And it is a psychedelic, I guess you could say, a little bit. And it also helps you go within. It's similar to Aya in the sense that you go into a journey and you typically purge and you get well. It's beautiful.
what was your experience like? How did you get invited to it, or how did you get called to it?
So a very, very good friend of mine co-facilitated this, and she's an amazing musician, singer, and she was just like, you got to come, you got to come. I was in Hawaii when the pandemic happened, and it was a very, very funny story. I was in Hawaii launching a program that I have, Luna Fast.
Okay.
And then I was going to a leadership training in Arizona. So when I got there, we like half my team went because the other half was like, we're quarantining. We don't know what's going on. The world is shutting down. I was there for a week, and then I took an overnight flight, and I was like, is it crazy to take an overnight flight and then go sit in a ceremony? Well, I did it. I slept like 1 hour and I showed up, and you're really there to be of service and to receive. So with these types of places, you start to you observe who and how you show up in the world. There's so much medicine in being in community and being with others. And so I chose to help make the altar with flowers and prep the space and be of service, and then we received the medicine, and it was very beautiful. A lot of my close friends were there, and you journey. For me, I took my journal, I wrote some things, had a few visions. It was very beautiful.
Oh yeah. And then, so what's the process like? So you go and you create the space and you help be of service. And then, so what, do you all sit around a circle, a fire? Is there like a shaman? Is there a guide?
Yeah, there's a really amazing, I guess you would call him a shaman. His name is Quatli, and he's from Mexico, and he's been doing this all over the world and working with peyote, the sacred medicine, for a very long time. And so they were saying that this was the first one that no one canceled.
Really?
And it was like 65 people deep. And everyone's
65
like people deep. Everyone is like still being safe and precautionary and, not touching,
Right.
but yeah, we're totally hugging each other by the end. And, I think we all went in there to really get clear on this next chapter for our lives.
And this was in Hawaii?
This was in March in Miami.
Miami.
Yeah, I went back to Miami for this March of 2020.
March of 2020.
Like March 14th, yeah.
Right. So then you're at this ceremony and there's 65 people. Are you in a cabin,
So we're outside.
you're outside?
We're in Homestead. We're in this beautiful like farmland. It was gorgeous. It was a clear sky. Totally sure I saw aliens and like light. Like it was so clear. These crazy lights. They were not drones. Definitely not. And we're all in a circle. We all have our own space, like your own yoga mat, your own cushions, your own tools. I like to bring my oils and my crystals, like my own stuff, my journal, your water.
That
and
helps you make you feel safe and feel like you have your stuff with you, maybe? Or
yeah, there's certain tools I like to work with. Now, it can be double-edged, right? Because you'll hear from others, like it's good sometimes to just show up as yourself with you and not be attached to anything and allow the journey to take you, right? So to each their own, but I
Right.
like to have some of my tools, at least my
Yeah.
little shaker and my oil.
Add your own little spice to the experience.
Yeah,
right?
it is
Make
nourishing.
Yeah.
It is nice.
Cool. So how is the process of taking this medicine? Do you put it on your skin? Do you inhale it? Do you?
So because it's a cactus,
Okay.
there's a few ways. They once it grows, you can cut it and harvest it, and you can eat it like that. So it's almost like a gelatin form.
Oh.
They can also grind it up, dry it, grind it up, and turn it into a powder, and then you can make food with it. So they make pretty much. It's like a cacao pudding kind of texture. It's really delicious.
Oh.
So the first one, typically they put the powder in your hand and you just put it in your mouth and then you
Okay.
drink it with water. And it's
Powder.
a powder
Okay.
in your hand. And it's funny because with COVID, I misunderstood the instructions and there was a cup. So I put the powder in the cup and then I poured the water in the cup and I started mixing it and I made this like cement paste. Like so not what you do. And trying to eat that was really, I was ready to purge like immediately. I could barely get it down.
Yeah.
My friend and I both accidentally did that, and that was like the warrior move right there, the rookie move too. And then later on, they pass by some buttons, and you can eat a second dose of buttons, and then they bring the cacao, like the pudding. It's so yummy, like you just want to eat all of it. It's really really good.
Is there any sugar in it? No, right? Or is?
Typically, they don't. They make it like with cacao and coconut oil and maybe like some agave, but typically, from what I've seen, it's very natural.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then
processed.
you have this powder and then you ingest it. Then what happens? How long is the process? Is it?
So usually within it depends how fasted you are. So they recommend for you to fast in the afternoon, like have a light breakfast. We started towards the evening. It was a all-night ceremony. So just depending on how light your body is that day and how empty your stomach is, usually within the hour you're going to start to feel.
What are you feeling? Oh no!
Yeah,
Take me on the journey
just
with you.
kind of things just start to get a little fuzzy, and you become more sensitive to everything. Like for me, a lot of silliness comes through. My inner child comes through. There's amazing musicians there. It was actually a very special ceremony because my friend asked me if I was going to sing. And music is something that came out for me for others in the last year and a half. I've been a singer and I've been playing piano and guitar practically my whole life. And I said yes. And in the moment they asked me, and the medicine hit me so hard, the peyote, that like, she's like, Monika, do you want to sing? And I'm like, nope. I could barely sit up. Like
Really?
it was so strong. I also hadn't slept.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
I was like sleep deprived, and once I got well and later on in the night, I was able, she asked me again, hey, do you want to offer a song? And I was like, yes. And so it was really beautiful. It was special to just sing from the heart and to share that. And it really opened me up because that's actually something I've been doing out here in Tulum is sharing music in ceremonies and mushroom ceremonies. So
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I would like to hear some of your music.
yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of events like that here in Tulum, and also sound healing journeys with aromatherapy and water blessing activations. Been working a
Ooh.
lot with the waters.
I like that. Nice. Hold on. Let me just double check that the camera's
Yeah,
on.
go for it. We good? It's always good to double check.
Yeah. This one time I recorded and I had pressed record, but it didn't record.
No.
So, but luckily, I have the other camera, so it's just, I can't go back and forth with it.
Yeah.
But it's just like those things when you're starting off, you don't
Mhm.
know. You're just like, gotta learn. But it's good. It's good. I like it. It's a learning process, and I'm getting better.
Totally.
Yeah. So, all right. So can you tell us more about the singing that you do? I want to hear
Yeah.
more about this. How did you get started? Did you grow up singing? Were you in some kind of choir? Did you learn on your own?
I actually did do choir when I was younger. I loved it. I wanted to be a singer from a young girl. I totally wanted to be J-Lo and Shakira. Like I know all the Shakira songs by heart.
Can you do the hips like Shakira?
all day? I
Really?
practice it in my room. As a 9-year-old girl, totally. So I was raised in a very musical family. My mom's side, everyone's pretty much a musician in bands. My brother's he's the gifted musician in my family. He's a producer in LA. My dad's side plays some music, but I picked up piano at like probably 7 years old. Yeah, my mom was a pianist and a guitarist and a singer. So
Really? Oh,
yeah.
wow. So you come from a line of artists of musical.
Yeah, my grandma was playing piano till she was like 95, 97. Like, it was
What?
amazing.
You know what? I actually want to start making some songs. So, if do you have anything recorded?
I have a couple things recorded and I have equipment for recording, but I've really been focusing on lives and
On
just doing
lives.
live events.
Okay. Why is that?
I think I'm just tuning into to connecting with music still. You know,
Okay.
it's been my journey with music. I started piano at like 7, and I was trained for about 7 or 8 years. So I was classically trained, in which you get a song, you practice it, you perfect it, you learn it, you perform it. And that was my experience for 7 years with music. It's like it has to be perfect and you have to practice it before performing, right? I picked up the guitar with my brother around like 12, 13, and it was cool, but it was a lot for me then. It was much more free flow, and I didn't know how to, like, my logic brain was so activated that my other side couldn't really just flow.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't sing and play guitar, so I left it there. And then I came back to it in my 20s. Between then, I had a lot of life-changing experiences, and I picked up the guitar in my 20s to really start soothing my heart. I lost my mom in a crash, and it was just, I think, me connecting back to myself through music. So I started learning a few more songs that I, just kind of experimenting. And my brother's always encouraged me. He's like, just go for it. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I think that my brain was so caught up in creating perfectionism with music. So I played for years, really, really by myself in my room, in my apartment, maybe for like a roommate or something, but never for others. And then in 2019, I decided to have my breast implants removed. So I had them for almost a decade in my 20s. And I saw my friend go through the explant surgery, and I realized, holy shit, like, if you had such a transformative experience in removing that, I'm curious to know what my body's going to do. So I scheduled my appointment. I took them out, and literally my heart chakra opened.
Really?
My throat chakra opened.
What? Like, can you?
Yeah, it was like blocked on another level that I didn't even know. Because when I got them in, I was looking to suppress feelings and to alter my state of feeling and not just love myself for who I was.
So you originally had got them because you didn't feel comfortable with who you were, or?
Yeah, I just wanted boobs. I'm like, I got a butt. I want to balance it out. I was bartender. I made good money. I was like, cash. I lived in Miami where, all the mannequins are like quadruple Ds, and it's normal, you know? So they weren't like too big, but for me, when I got them in, I was like, whoa. I was almost like ashamed. Like, it was like too much.
Okay. What size did you get?
They were like small C's.
Okay.
Which didn't look bad on my body.
Right.
But when I took them out, I was like, like, I can breathe.
Really?
Like, I felt like I could be myself again. I didn't even know I wasn't being myself. It's one of those things you don't know until it's gone.
Right.
And my health shifted on another level.
In what way?
So I had blood work that was like really messed up. My hormones, my thyroid was questionable, my digestion, just a lot of different things. But there was never like a pinpointed answer in Western medicine. And so when I took them out, everything just immediately went back to normal within 3 months.
And how long did you have them in?
Almost a decade.
A decade.
Yeah.
So could you remember, before, how you felt your body was before you put them in? Could you say they went back to normal, or?
Yeah. So it really took about 5 years for my body to start fighting itself and for my body to start fighting the implants. Because when I got them in, like, I had never really had surgery, and like, yeah, I recovered and I was fine, and I was working out and eating right and like doing my thing. I was fine. Right. But then I noticed over the years, my hair started to get thinner and it wouldn't grow well. And my eyebrows started to like thin out, and I couldn't lose this lower body fat percentage, and my digestion had a lot of issues, and my skin was really dry, and all of a sudden my thyroid was off, and like this was like after 5 years. And they're like, oh, it's stress. Oh, it's this. Oh, take this medication. Oh, take that. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm 27 and I'm very healthy for the most part. And so when I took them out, then my body was just my own skin. It went from being dry to having like rosy cheeks and like oily hair. And it was almost like you're trying to water a plant and the plant is inside and it's not getting sunlight. So the minute the implants came out, it was like back in sunlight and like able to really flourish.
Yeah, grow. I mean, that makes sense. You have a foreign object within your body that's not natural. It's not meant to be where it is, right? Exactly. And it's not only even the foreign object, it's also the reason why you have it there. It's like, the reason you put it there is because maybe you're filling some kind of space or kind of some lack of something, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that goes back to emotional state of being, creating your physical reality, how over the years that imbalance still showed up as an imbalance.
Right. And your friend who had taken them out, what was her reasoning for taking them out?
She literally came up to me one day and said, my breast implants are killing me.
Like literally, or like?
I looked at her and I was like, you're crazy. I love you. I support you. But like, okay.
Yeah. I'm keeping mine. You can take yours.
I was curious, but I hadn't researched breast implant illness. I hadn't looked into it. I didn't even know about it. No one talked to me about this when I went to get my surgery. Nothing, zero.
Right.
And then you hear about the extreme cases, of course, that 1% or whatever. Yeah. But seeing her transition, like systemic inflammation, gone.
Really?
Just immediate mental clarity, emotional clarity. I was amazed at her transformation. I was like, babe, like, wow. To the point where it was actually one night I went drinking, which I don't really drink alcohol anymore. Mm-hmm. And I woke up the next day with breast pain. And I just intuitively said, get this out right now.
Right.
And so I did.
Do you have a lot of friends who have breast implants?
I have a couple. A lot of mine have taken them out. A lot of my friends started taking them out after that. And yeah, a couple still have them though. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Cause I mean, I've actually never thought of that. When, women get breast implants, I kind of just figured they keep them for forever. But what percentage would you say of women who get breast implants keep them for?
So you're supposed to take them out every 10 years and redo them.
You're supposed to take them out every 10 years.
Yeah, you're supposed to redo them. That's what they recommend because it's still... so no one talks about the toxicity inside of implants.
Okay.
And the chemicals that are in them.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's really highly toxic. There's aluminum. There's like tons of shit. There's a whole list.
Why can't they just put like coconut oil in some natural product?
So there's the saline kind.
Okay.
There is saline, right, where it's made of like liquid,
but
it's still synthetic stuff. I mean, the lining of it is still synthetic.
Okay.
So,
but maybe since it's going to be there for 10 years, they need something to not be able to react to different temperatures and be able to stay stable within your body.
Exactly.
And heat.
Exactly.
Okay.
So they get crafty, medicine and Western medicine and the things that they can do in labs nowadays. I mean, we have fake food everywhere, right? So it's like you can make anything. And it's very toxic for the body. The immune system over the years starts to fight it. And especially for something around your heart, around your chest, the immune system is like constantly working to create a capsule around the implant to protect itself. And so when you remove them, some doctors don't even take that out. And that's it's like a full layer of like toxicity that needs to be taken out. Because
what do you mean? Your immune system creates a layer around the implant?
Yeah.
So when the doctor takes them out, they take out the implant, but not the layer?
Most doctors will take that whole thing. It's called an M block, but some doctors won't. They'll just pull the implant out, but it's important for you to like scrape all of it off. Imagine like marbled meat. Like when you have the surgery, it looks like fat around, like white marbled fat around the implant, and then you cut it off and it's like it comes out and then the full actual plastic implant is inside.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like a whole experience. And
that's your immune system that has created this protective. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So does your breast actually get bigger because of that? Because of this this protective, how big is this? I mean, is it just like a thick?
Yeah, it's like thin.
Oh,
I would say it's like thin. It's not like super big.
Okay.
But it's enough to, like, it takes from your body, right? Because your body's constantly balancing itself out and healing itself and regenerating itself to keep itself in homeostasis. When it has something all of a sudden it has to work towards, all the energy goes towards that.
Right. So then you end up with all these symptoms, and
like
then
autoimmune disease.
Autoimmune disease, yeah. What's an example of some autoimmune disease that arise?
Oh my God, thyroid issues, hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's. People get cancer. People get lupus. I've seen so many people with different autoimmune diseases, and they can't figure out where it's from. And then later down the road, I'm like, do you have breast implants? And they're like, yeah, I've had them for 15 years. And I'm like, dude, the minute you take, and I've seen this because I've been in a lot of groups now, the minute they have surgery, all of their symptoms go away.
It's amazing how, yeah, I mean, for example, you went to all these doctors and they give you this, they prescribed this, and they said it was because of that or something else, right? But no one mentioned, hey, you have breast implants. Could this be a cause?
Yep.
How insane. I mean, these are doctors. These are people that are professional who go to medical school. But yet, why? How? Why is that no one...
Brainwashed.
No
they're
one
only
figured it
taught.
out.
They're only taught certain things. Like, most people don't go outside the box to think about it. They just go based on the books and the literature and the classes and the course curriculum that they've been given.
Right.
And that's what quantum healing is so powerful, because it takes us outside of like what we've been taught. And like, let's be real, like what you were taught in school, is that still the same thing that you're applying these days? Like,
No.
our minds are meant to expand.
So what is quantum healing? What is
Quantum healing is being able to heal from a different dimension. It's really going beyond the 3D, like the 4D and the 5D and the 6D. And so it's, for example, with your own thoughts, changing your state of being, right? Just like if we're having a nervous breakdown, you're just having a complete freak out moment. Going into a state of meditation can help relax the nervous system, help calm you down and take you out of that frequency. It's not exactly quantum healing, but it's an example of how we really can shift our perception and our reality when we focus on it. And so you can find people in the world that can even help people shift their state of frequency from long distance.
Really?
Right? Mm-hmm.
So is quantum healing having to do with frequencies?
I mean, everything is a frequency. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, some people may not think of frequencies in that way, but yeah, I mean, most people think of frequencies in audio form.
Sound, yeah.
But what other frequencies are there? Like light frequencies
frequency, sound frequency, like we said.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Their frequencies.
But also, I want to know more about this quantum healing thing. So when I think of quantum, I think of like quantum physics and subatomic particles and all these things, and you're kind of saying it's also different dimensions of spatial dimensions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So something I've been working on, tying it all back in, once I had my implants taken out, it opened me up so much that I was like, this music is part of my life. I have to share this. And my friend that invited me to the Peyote ceremony was the same friend that sat me down and said, Monika, singing for others is medicine, not only for you. Like, music is medicine for you, but it's also medicine for others. Right? And so don't be afraid to just sing for other people. Because I was so afraid.
Really?
Afraid of being seen, afraid of being judged, like whatever. And it just, she gave me that like strength to be like, no, it's more than just the stories in my head. So it really put me out there to work deeper with music. And through working with sound bowls, which is also, a way of tuning deeper into ourselves, and guided meditation, I myself have been able to release tension to help my body heal itself, right? By focusing, Reiki energy, for example, and placing your hands on there, setting intentions, going into a deep meditation, like going into the root cause of whatever is being created in a physical realm from a emotional and spiritual space, right?
Yeah, I think also too, there's so many healing ways for sound, so many healing aspects of sound that we don't realize that just being in an environment where there's certain, if you're living in your house and there's construction going on, that's going to affect you. If you're if you're driving to work every day and you're hearing honking and yelling and this, that's also affecting you. But if you go into a space where there's good acoustics, like these salt caves or something like that, or
mantras.
Mantras? What
Yeah.
What do you
even
mean?
Mantras.
Oh, like
like working with the frequency of mantras. So sorry, what you were saying too is like the kind of music that's being put out now in pop culture, a lot of that frequency is like it's like very like shocking for the nervous system in excess. Like it's very intense, it's very strong, it gives anxiety almost, right? Some music, not all,
right.
And then there's that other kind of music, right? More like chill vibes where you're saying like in caves, like sound healing, like it's flowy, it feels good, it's a different vibration that helps us feel more in tune with our heart space and helps us feel just a higher vibration, right? So even working with mantras, which was something that was really transformational for me, I'd say in the last 4 or 5 years, I started working with Kundalini yoga on a much deeper level, and repeating certain mantras helps change the frequency. It helps restructure our cellular being, our nervous system, our immune system, our thought processes. Everything is just repeating a specific mantras, and these mantras have been said for thousands of years. Even Om. It's a universal mantra. Om.
So you just repeat Om. Om. Yeah. Is there a certain frequency that I've seen on Instagram and certain pages where they say this frequency is the best frequency, or something, that certain radio songs or pop songs operate on a frequency that kind of messes with your vibration? But there's a certain, do you know the
so there's different megahertz also that work with certain chakras. So there's certain hertz, like the 432 for the heart chakra. Then there's ones, there's specific ones, like you can even tune guitars and tune like different instruments to, like bowls have certain tones that work for specific parts of our being.
I had seen that the other day where they showed the megahertz or the hertz for your chakras, your different chakras, to be able to activate and to be able to, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's super cool, right?
Yeah.
So you can actually, I believe we can heal ourselves. I'm not here to heal anyone. I'm just here to be the guide on how I've done it for myself, right? And like this is what worked for me. So I just kind of, open that door for others to explore. But I believe that we can heal ourselves completely through mantras, through mindset, through like shifting our perspective and like opening ourselves up to really being able to embody love and self-love, our past, our present, our future, because a lot of the times the things that we're creating is based on the stories that we've lived and the traumas and the pain that we're still carrying so deeply within us. So being able to have compassion for that version of you that maybe didn't do the right thing in that moment, right? And being able to forgive yourself,
right,
releases all that pain and that judgment and like that difficulty that we've been carrying in our hearts for so long.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think that we can heal ourselves, and we're always looking for someone else, for someone to heal us, some expert or whoever it may be. But whenever you're sick with just a simple, maybe a cold or whatever, a cough, if you just have a good environment to sit yourself down, relax, your body will heal itself. When you get cut, what does your body do? It heals itself.
Yeah.
I think 99% of what happens to you, any kind of sickness or some event, it's all on you. You can heal yourself.
Yeah.
Whether it's
And a lot of the times we've been ignoring the signs, right? Because we're so desensitized from ourselves that we don't even like pay attention to what our body is telling us when it is asking us to slow down, or, hey, this doesn't feel good. How long has that not felt good before you realize that it turned into a tumor or it turned into something like very serious, right?
Right.
Also, going back to what you're saying, something that totally changed my life was water.
Water.
And water fasting.
Water fasting.
Water fasting to heal my body and heal myself. And that's was part of the journey with detoxing from my breast implants, was discovering the power of water and allowing my body to be with itself. And with that, it healed, right? Not reaching out for supplements and drugs and this and that no, just simplicity of water and allowing the body to heal itself.
So yeah, tell me more about this water fasting. I think it's becoming such a big thing, fasting, and a lot of history, a lot of religious text talks about fasting, but there's a lot more scientific evidence to support fasting, and people might see fasting as something where, no, how can you say fasting is good for you? So many people suffer from eating disorders, and going a while without nourishing your body is not healthy. It's not good for you. So can you tackle some of these misconceptions for people?
Yeah. Well, the first one I want to tackle is science and scientific evidence, because before all of that existed, we had real shamans and intuitive healers and people that were totally healing on a quantum level by using their intuition and tuning into the elements that we have. And so I'm a firm believer that we have so much in Western and scientific literature to still discover. We're just putting it all together now. We're realizing the magic that lies within what we already have, which is we're freaking superheroes and we have our superpowers, right?
Yeah.
And with fasting, so what happens is pretty much our body, we're constantly feeding it. We're constantly giving it food and nourishment for energy. And it duplicates itself, and it uses that food for energy. Okay. So after certain hours, you're depleted, and then your body asks for food again. So you feed yourself. If you don't feed yourself, you
die.
Exactly. Most people think they're going to die. But what happens is after a certain period, your body starts to go into ketosis.
Okay, what's ketosis?
So ketosis is pretty much when your body is pulling out. Let me word this right. So ketosis is when you don't have any more sugars in your body, and so it starts pulling fat and burning that for energy.
Oh, okay. And is that like? So it burns fat for energy.
Yeah. So pretty much it starts using all of its storage for energy.
Okay. So fats for energy. Okay.
Yeah.
Then what happens?
And so then your body over time starts to go into autophagy.
Autophagy. Okay. What's autophagy?
So autophagy is when your body starts to eat it, like pretty much go deeper and clean itself out. So your body has a really powerful mechanism, which is that, and your cells will go in and be like, oh, there's gunk stored here, there's fat, like there's stuff stored here, oh, look at this little mass here that's been sitting here, and like it's causing a lot of inflammation and causing a lot of pain, and look at all this mucus that's around the chest area, and look at all this stuff that's around these breast implants. Oh, let's clean it up, let's use this for energy and start to clean the body through this state.
So cleaning house.
Yeah, it cleans it's like exactly. It's its own proper cleaning mechanism. And so when you don't have food, it doesn't have that source of energy. So it starts to use all this stored stuff as energy. It's going to preserve your muscle mass. It's going to preserve your organs. It's going to preserve your brain. It's going to preserve everything. You're not going to all of a sudden just like eat away your whole stomach. Like it doesn't work like that. But your brain goes places, right?
Right. I think your brain also consumes a lot of energy. So people think that when you don't eat, you're going to hurt yourself.
And also your brain is made of a ton of water, mostly water. And it does use carbs as energy. It requires a lot of carbs. It's a simple source of fuel. Primarily your brain does use that. But with water, you are able to live weeks, months, literally. Without food.
Yeah, no, I had heard, actually, I think it was like 5 years ago, these scientists won the medical Nobel Prize for discovering autophagy.
Mhm.
And yeah, now it's a well documented event in the body that occurs when you fast, that your body does clean house when you don't have any nutrients coming in, because I think something like 80% of your immune system is in your digestive tract, right?
Exactly. And so it helps regenerate. It helps regenerate everything. Your immune system, it helps balance your metabolism, your hormones, gives you mental clarity. It helps bring back your circadian rhythm, your sleep cycle. It strengthens everything. Like, I can't tell you how powerful fasting has been for me on a physical level, on a mental level.
Well, tell me, we're here. Tell me. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Tell me all
Well,
of it.
so the first couple times I was freaking out because I definitely had eating disorders growing up. So my first thought process was, all right, I got this gunk in my body. I got to get this out. I have parasites with my gut. I've got like fungal issues with my gut. Like candida, like everything, my body was just really imbalanced because of my implants, primarily. And so I found water fasting through my research, and I noticed that during the new moon and through the full moon, my gut was really sensitive. Like, I naturally wanted to fast during these lunar cycles, and sometimes my stomach would just swell up and like be really in pain, and I couldn't figure out why, but I knew that it was during those times of the month.
Okay.
Right? Not just my time of the month,
Right,
but like
right.
the lunar cycles. And so I just started fasting and doing some research, found a friend who was doing group fasting, but that was with coffee, and then they would break and eat like huge meals, and it was not the best transition out, in my opinion. And again, I had that like fear of eating disorder coming back and doing it for the wrong reasons, because in the past I would starve myself, fast,
Right.
and then I would break it and binge eat everything you could imagine, because I was going in for the wrong reasons, right?
Okay.
It was more like weight loss or like be skinny, and like I ate too much this weekend or whatever. And so this time I was like, well, I want to help my body heal itself right now. Like, I want to get rid of this stuff. So first couple times I did it, it was okay. I felt better. But then I started creating protocols and regimens around going in and out of the fast, and what is going to support my fast. Like, how can I support my mind, my body, my spirit, like baths, doing lymphatic massages, doing dry brushes, tongue scraping, oil pulling. These were all different things that we can help our body detoxify itself. So one of my really good friends also was doing a huge training in fasting in Bali at the time. She's a Kundalini teacher. We were doing Kundalini together. And so we came together and we wrote out a whole protocol, which is now called the LunaFast program.
Oh, LunaFast. Okay, that's where it originates from. Okay.
Yeah. And so we chose really the new moon. They say that the full moon and the new moon, which is when the moon is closer to the earth, that is when parasites, viruses, and bugs, which we have tons of them all over our body, they are more active in our bodies. So you're going to notice a lot of symptoms, especially if you have gut parasites, if you have a lot of gut issues, it's going to be altered during that time. So it is better to fast during those cycles. And so we pair it with a whole cleansing protocol to help you really get rid of everything from mucus, inflammation. You know, it's fascinating.
Yeah, and it's also great to have that, because you know a lot of people can maybe hurt themselves, or not if they don't know what they're doing with fasting.
Exactly.
You know, you go and you want someone who can guide you, who can help you with certain things and how to do it properly.
Exactly.
Because you know some people are strong, but some people, they eat 3, 4, 5 times a day, and to just go into a fast cold is not a good idea, and you need to prepare your body for this process.
Exactly. Yeah, especially for those that have struggled with like caffeine addiction or like love their coffee. Like, I actually got off coffee because of fasting. I'm so grateful. I didn't even realize how like shocked my nervous system was all the time. And like, I'm just this high strung energy anyway.
Right.
So now it's like really learning how to ground my energy and be still.
Yeah, every time I see you, you have really good energy, and
Thanks.
and it's no coffee, no do you take any teas or any what is it, kratom or kava?
No, I'm really sensitive to all of that. So my energy is just, I'm high on life. I meditate, I sing, I work out, I drink a lot of water, I eat well, I use my oils. No, I use like greens powders and I use Shilajit, different things that we recommend actually during the fast that you can be doing throughout the day if you need energy. But it's all plant-based and just really working with the elements. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think fasting is something that's gonna just keep growing bigger and bigger. But I think there's also the industry that's would be against it, because if you fast and you're not eating anything, then you're not buying and you're not consuming. So it goes with direct competition with the profit of corporations, right? So
And what pharmaceutical company wants to know that we're getting people off of their medications and helping them get off of, hormone, replacements and things like that? Like
it's sad.
we're helping people with autoimmune disease.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think that there's a business out there that profits on people being sick. And a lot of people, when you tell this to someone, a normal person, they just think, no, that's crazy. No one would try to profit off people being sick. Like you're telling me that there's doctors and there's scientists that are purposefully making people sick. And I don't think it's doctors or scientists. I just think that there's the business side. There's the people who don't see it that way. Yes, the doctors help and create medicines, and scientists do the research and they have all these products, but that's one side of it. But then on the other side, there's the marketers, there's the CEOs that are looking for just the profit. They're not putting people over profit.
Totally.
They're putting the profit over people, the fiduciary responsibility that the corporations have to make profit and not make people healthy, because being healthy is in direct competition.
And I also, like you're saying, money talks.
And BS walks.
Yeah. Money talks. And then also, I don't think people are really always out to do things maliciously. And I don't think that, I think deep inside, it's conditioning and it's environmental. And it's like, well, this is what I learned. And this is my identity of like how things have been. Like, how can I all of a sudden believe this new idea when I've been in college for 15, 20 years and I've had this career for 30 years? It's like being open to like the evolution and that like maybe what you perceive to be truth might not be the best way anymore. And so we have to collectively be open to growth.
Yeah, I think it's just being real with yourself and being honest and accepting that not everything that is true. I mean, it's okay to be wrong, and it's actually a great thing to be proven wrong, because that means that now this idea that you had, this false idea or false belief, now you're no longer carrying that false belief. Now you're a new person, a new elevated person with these new ideas that are more grounded on reality.
Yeah, my uncle always told me there's no right, there's no wrong, there are only moments. And it really stuck with me a lot, because I was like 19 and I'm like, what? So you're telling me there's nothing I do is wrong? It's like, well, the truth, there's also like other sides of it, right? Like it's just being able to see beyond what we're told. It's like being able to, it's like a higher frequency to a lower frequency. There's no right or wrong with it. It's just like, how do you feel?
Right.
How do you feel when you're living that way? And how do you feel when you're choosing these things? Like, does this feel good in your heart? Do you even know what your heart feels?
I think a lot of people don't.
And that's why we go back to the senses. And it's so important for us to tune into our senses so we can really tap into our heart space and get real with ourselves.
I agree. I think we need that. Hold on, let me just Yeah, I think that's super important. So how would you recommend, like, what are some tips for people to get more into this space that you're talking about, more sensitive? Or
well, fasting's an easy way to do it.
So wait, let's keep it with fasting. How long should people fast, or what are some recommendations for you? I mean, everyone's different.
So beginner fasters, I would start with intermittent fasting. Super popular. There's a lot of benefits. No one really talks about water fasting for 2 to 3 days, which is what you want to do to get to the point of autophagy, 48 hours, 72 hours. You can build up to that. With our program, we guide you into a 3-day water fast. And then we also use other types of fasts. We do fruit fasting, juice fasting, water fasting, dry fasting, which is no solids, no liquids, nothing.
I've done a dry fast.
Have you?
Yeah.
For how long?
6 days.
Holy. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Did you do Vision Quest?
Vision Quest? No. I had done an 8-day water fast, a coconut water fast. So I would go to the market, buy some coconuts, buy like 9 coconuts every 3 days, and just every time I felt hungry, I would just crack open a coconut and just drink the water. And I did that for 8 days.
Nice.
And then this year, for New Year's, I was with some friends, and I was like, I want a challenge on New Year's Eve, and I was like, I'm gonna do a fast, but I'm gonna do a dry fast.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't do this. Don't try it. I'm not saying that you should do this, but yeah, I went into it. I did. I actually put it also on my Instagram story, so I would ask people questions, and their main concern actually was water. They were like, "Oh my God! Like if you don't drink water after 3 days, you're gonna die," and all these things. And yeah, and I was scared for myself. So I was a bit scared because I was like, "Oh my God, I'm approaching 3 days." But I did it. I did it reckless. I was so reckless, and I was working out while doing it. I was going to the public beach and doing upside down handstand push-ups and running and
Wow.
pull-ups and
What's
dips.
your sign?
I'm a Leo, so yeah.
Oh, that fire, man.
Yeah.
Don't know when to stop.
So, but yeah, that's my my draft. But I don't know if I didn't really prepare for it, but I think actually I did prepare for it because previously, a few weeks before, my diet was smoothies.
Yeah.
And I didn't, and I've eaten a ton of avocados and a lot of good fruits, and so yeah, I kind of, not knowingly prepared for the fast. So
amazing.
yeah, 6
Wow,
days.
6 days. That's
yeah.
I did a 7-day water fast in February. That's the longest I've done, and then I did a dry fast at the very end just to cap it off. But yeah, we only do 3 days in the Luna fast, but you can always extend it if you feel inspired to. It's like this is just the basic guidelines, and then we go into juice fasting with fruit juices, and then we go into fruits because fruits are, and it's so crazy because I remember working in the hospitals and helping with weight loss programs there, and the trainers were like, "How can you make someone eat a mango at 6 p.m. They could have diabetes and blood sugar levels are going to go through the roof." And I'm like, dude, it's fruit.
Yeah.
Like this is nature's medicine. When I feel sick, I fruit fast. Yeah. I literally just eat fruit, water fast. Like this is our vitamins. And so fruit gets such a bad rep. It digests differently. It absorbs differently. It's not the same sugar as like table sugar. It has
the fiber in it also, and it's not table sugar. It's not highly processed. It's fruit. It's natural fruit. It's not synthetic fruit either.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think like for example, the trainers, they have this mindset where, they're taught this way or these ideas in school, and they don't know how to think outside the box, and they can also accept that, hey, maybe they're wrong. That's the issue. It's just they're right. Whatever is right, and whatever someone else is doing is wrong. And it's not that way, because even if they're right about something, it's not right for everybody.
Exactly.
Right. Everyone has their own different physical bodies and different chemical makeups and needs.
100%. And fasting isn't for everyone either. You know what I mean? Like intermittent fasting. And I think it's also psychological. That's something I've learned myself. In the beginning, I was like going a little bit mentally crazy, like wrapping my head around this because of my history with like, eating disorders and all that stuff. So the brain, it works like a muscle. It gets stronger every time. And every fast is different. It's like depending on where you are in your life and like what layers you're unraveling during that and what you're growing through, like the fast is just going to amplify it and like help you push through it. But we safely, after fruit fasting, we add a different food group every day, and we leave you eating an alkaline plant-based diet and give you all the tools and resources to continue supporting a detox, like a body if you need a detox, and just a healthy, thriving body. And we have a lot of clients. We've helped almost 1,000 people already do our program in the last year and a half. Wow. And people fast with us monthly, seasonally, yearly, twice a year. So it's really cool.
I think, you say it's not for everybody, but I think it is at a certain level where intermittent fasting, something like that, is for everybody. Maybe not necessary. Maybe not a 6-day dry fast, but maybe a 24-hour fast. You'll build up to it eventually. But I think the human body is designed for fasting.
100%.
This is something that we've become accustomed to where we were hunters and gatherers or scavengers and foragers, whatever you want to call our history, where we didn't have food for a while.
Yeah.
And our bodies are used to fasting and used to conserving energy. And even animals too. I also read somewhere when I was fasting that when animals get injured or sick, they fast. They don't eat anything.
Exactly.
And that's how they heal. Amazing.
Yeah, when I was like deep into research and all the science, it was years. I remember finding an article about the Asian population. They live longer because they eat less, and that's their culture.
Yeah, I had
less cellular overturn.
Cellular overturn.
Yeah, it's like less cellular overturn. So they don't use as much energy, and then their cells don't have to regenerate themselves over and over again because the cells only have a certain long lifespan, right?
Okay.
Like our bodies. So the more that like we make it work, the more it's taxed, and it ages us faster.
So yeah, that makes a lot of sense because I was looking into something about fasting, and it was saying how when you fast, you get autophagy, and what happens is when you're not feeding yourself, your cell doesn't have access to certain nutrients. So it says, hey, should I divide or should I not divide? So instead of dividing, it says, no, you know what? Instead of making a new cell, I'm gonna just clean house and work on making myself stronger. So you're not dividing, you're keeping your cells that you have strong, and it's becoming stronger.
Yeah.
So then you have stronger cells instead of it making a copy of itself, and that copy is going to be not a perfect copy because copies, obviously there's some errors that happen when you make a copy. And yeah,
and that's why the refeeding coming out of a fast is so important, and you don't want to break it and eat Domino's pizza or a burger.
I can
or
go to
like
McDonald's after my fast.
Oh, please no. And it's so important to like ease back into it and introduce foods that are high nutritional value for us, because that's what's going to really help amplify boosting the immune system and like cleaning out our gut. It's I think it's the best medicine we could ever have.
Yeah,
and
the body heals itself. The body will, if you just leave the body alone, it'll heal itself. I mean, you create a good environment in a good space and give it what it asks for, but just leave it. Just leave your body. Your body knows what's good for it, right? Yeah. All these synthetic medicines that we prescribe ourselves, and we're taking 20 pills for all these different things, and they're combining, and they're so unnatural. Yep. Just let your body heal. Just stop putting stuff in it, unnatural things. Just take your time and it'll heal.
Yeah, put on some binaural beats, put on some high
some good music,
frequency mantras,
right? Be around,
drink water,
around loving community, whether journal, write your thoughts and
earth,
positive thinking. Yeah, I think that there's just I
all day. And sometimes it's not even positive thinking, right? Because sometimes our positive thoughts can mask what we're really trying to work through, and that can be pain, and that can be like turbulence, that can be like all this built up stuff like anger, aggression, that comes through. I've seen that through fasting myself, where it's like all of this starts to come out and I didn't even know it was there, and I'm there like, namaste, bro, motherfucker. And it's just like, wow, like I really needed to let that out,
right?
And then I found peace, and then I found release.
Yeah, I like that. That's much better than what I said. I think
perspective.
No, it's true, because not just being positive vibes all the time, but also being real with yourself and realizing that, hey, there are some issues, that you need to deal with, and just being more sensitive, maybe I would say, and more real with yourself. Yeah, if you do have some issues, that hey, like, don't mask it with just pretending to be positive and positive, but being real to yourself.
And I think like the biggest key is having compassion for ourselves.
Okay.
We tend to be really, really hard on ourselves.
I do that all the time. I'm super hard on myself. So I'm so bad to myself. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It took me, after my explant surgery, even my own like relationship with my hair was like a thing, and I didn't even realize it, but it's like I was, because my hair had thinned out, and I was like, oh my God, my hair is falling. I'm like, it's so ugly, and and then I caught myself. I'm like, wow, like I'm really talking to myself like this. Like, this is a part of who I am. This is like an extension of who I am.
Right.
Like, how can is this how I would talk to someone else?
It's crazy how we treat other people better than we treat ourselves sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And so like having that compassion, like, no, this is me, like love and own this part of myself too.
Yeah.
It is me. Like even with others, having compassion with others, like what makes us think that we're separate? We're all humans trying to figure it out, you know, and just live.
I think when we see other people, we think, oh my God, that person has it so figured out. And here, look at me living my life. But no one has it figured out, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe some people do. And I think some people might have it figured out, because I see some people who are super happy and blissed out. And I'm just like, I want your energy. You know?
I think they're just in the moment.
That is true.
They're just living in the moment, because who really has the answers?
Yeah.
Like, let's dig a little deeper into that question, which I go all the time into this. It's like we think we're in control, because the way I used to see it is like, oh, that person has it figured out. They must be in control, right? Like they must have everything under control, and they wake up really early and they have their tasks done and they get their work done and they're living that perfect like life, right? No one's in control. We control absolutely nothing. And I think being able to release the control and the idea that we're in control and still show up and put ourselves first and put what we're called here and inspired to do and doing it from the heart is truly living our highest. And that's what creates a high vibrational frequency that emits and reflects to others.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like I've heard people say how, you know, when, for example, when someone makes music, right? A lot of musicians, what they say is that I didn't make this piece. I channeled it through me. I let go of all control, and I tried to focus and absorb the energy around me, and then just like let the music flow through me.
Yeah. And I think that's why I like doing live music so much, because putting it in a box in a container and like recording it and that being it, I'm not there yet. You know, it's like I'm a writer. I love writing. I love poetry. I love creating music. Like, but it's just so in the moment.
Right.
You know, like there isn't that. I can't put it in a box yet. Like some
sit
songs
yourself
I've written,
down and
some songs I've written.
Let's make some music together.
Let's do it. What do you do? Share with me your music.
I mostly produce, but I also want to sing. I want to make more electronic music. I really like The Weeknd and stuff like that. More electronic things. Maybe some pop, some hip hop. But yeah, being here in Tulum, I would love to make a song. Maybe not make it. I'm gonna channel it through my body and let it be whatever it is, and then also make some music videos here. I think that we're in Tulum. You know, we have such beautiful scenery here that we can make great music and also tie that with a music video. I mean, I'm a videographer.
100%.
So if we want to work together on a song, then we can go and make a video out of it.
I'm so there. When I first came here, yes. So thank you. And I actually love electronic music and like fusing medicinal music and mantras and like adding that like fun, like dancey, flowy flair. Like, I don't think I've seen you at ecstatic dances, but like I'm a huge ecstatic. Okay. The invitation stands on the 27th. I'll be doing a live sound healing at, God, what's it called? It's Sunrise
Groove.
Yes. So I'll be there doing it live if you want to join.
Nice. All right.
And
Is
you
that
can experience
in
it.
Selena?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Not this Tuesday, but the next one.
What are you going to be doing? Are you going to be playing?
Sound bowls. I do sound bowls, and then I sing as Johnny starts bringing in the electronic music, and we just kind of like fuse it into the dance party. So I start with a drop-in meditation sound healing.
I like that. Okay, yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah. No, let's write some. When I first came here, actually, I wrote a song in like 2 days. I was like, poof. It came down. I was like, wow.
Yeah,
that was really fast, and just
that's what I want. I want to be in that flow state.
Yeah,
this
is the place.
Yeah, and then let's set the intention, right? Let's set the intention to be in that state, so that when we get in that state, and we can just like produce something and create something amazing and magical.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's helped me the most is like getting out of my masculine energy space, because the masculine in me is like work and structure and like I'm gonna work on music for 2 hours and it's no, like take the day off or half day off and like play and be in that feminine of just like openness and creativity and like flow,
right? And
that's when it really starts to come through easily, with ease, because you're just having fun with it. You know, it's like we're not in that logic brain where it has to be like structured and yes, it's going to be there, but like, you know what I'm saying?
I think we can I feel like we have good energy together. We
Yeah.
can get in that space.
Yeah.
Yeah. I listen to a lot of Alan Watts, and he's always talking about just play. Like life isn't about work. It's just play. You're
Yeah.
not here to work or to get somewhere the fastest. It's just have fun.
And that's what I'm grateful for Tulum for showing that to me.
Yeah. I think that I miss sometimes being a kid, but then like I also like having the freedom of being an adult. But it's so simple. Just be a kid again, right? Just who cares what people are thinking? Just enjoy. Like when I see kids on the beach and they're just with their sand and they're just throwing themselves in the water, and I'm just like, yeah, you can have fun with.
They've got it figured out.
Yeah, we know what life is, but then we forget. I mean, not we forget. We get brainwashed and to do all these things.
I read in a book. The right side, or the side of us that is like the inner child and it's really playful, like our perception of time and aging is very particular, because like we know we're older, but we don't feel like we're older, but we do, but we don't.
Okay.
You know, like we can still tap into that inner child and be like fun and playful, right? But like our it's like, you know how they say like, oh, the time just flew by. All of a sudden I'm like 30 and like I just remember being 12 yesterday.
Time
right?
is relative.
You can like tap into that so easily. It's because our other half of our brain, it doesn't perceive time. It does not exist.
Oh yeah.
So it'll always, we have that ability to tap in.
Tap in.
Have you done tapping?
No.
I just every morning.
What is that?
It's part of my self-care ritual.
What is that?
I tap my crown. I tap my third eye. So this is part of, I don't know if it's like quantum healing, but I think it's like alternative healing practices. But pretty much like tapping, it helps create new cells and helps boost the immune system also. And it helps calm the nervous system. So I tap my face in the mornings. I tap my throat chakra. I tap my heart. As soon as I wake up, and just like tap my belly. This helps, you know, with the gut. If you have gut indigestion issues, like just tapping really helps calm the nervous system. But yeah, I love tapping.
Yeah, that makes also sense because you're bringing awareness to that area. Mm-hmm. You're bringing a sensation of vibration. So you may, yeah. I mean, also doctors do that, right? When they tap you, they try to see like where you're at. Yeah, I think there's just so much that we aren't taught as kids, as growing up, that there's so many ways to tune yourself. I wish there was an instruction manual for the human body. I mean, I know everyone's different. We all have our own bodies, but like a real instruction manual, a guide for the body, like all these things like tapping or like learning where your chakras are, or learning where your lines are, or how to hear yourself in a certain situation, or maybe we already know.
Maybe that's the new earth being built for the new schools and the new indigo children that are going to come in, and we'll be able to create that for them. Right? Like maybe that'll be the new way of learning.
Indigo children. I've heard that before. What is that?
Well, it's like the new age, you know. It's like this is the newer age. It's like they're just indigo children. They're children of the light. They're born into like this completely different world where industrialization, it was like we're beyond industrialization. We're beyond technology. Like now we're really tuning into like our superpowers and like
our superpowers.
Yeah.
I think that technology also hinders our superpowers.
It's a dance. It's both. Can like we can enhance some things, but when overused, which anything, going back to being imbalanced, like when you underuse things, like it creates an imbalance. So if we're overworking with technology, it can totally
That's true.
take from our essence, just like if we don't utilize it, you know.
But I think, for example, like a pencil is technology, right? A pencil allows you to transfer ideas to something that can transcend your thoughts, and you can share it with someone else that's not maybe there at the same time as you. But also, to me, I believe that if it wasn't for technology, maybe we would have developed more abilities. Maybe we can do some kind of telekinesis where we can talk to each other, you know, through our minds, where we don't really need cell phones. Like we have cell phones, that's technology, but imagine if we can use our brain waves to telepathically have a conversation with each other, but technology limits that.
I mean, that's why I like Tulum. I don't have to worry about like doing things. It just happens.
Right.
This is that like that frequency of this land, and being in places like this that are so tapped into the 5D. And like this is a very high vibrational space where I literally was in I was in yoga the other day, and I'm meditating at the end, and I'm just thinking of my girlfriend. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't talked to her in so long, and like I miss her, and I'm sending her love, and I hope she's doing good. I open my phone, boom, hey mama, how you been? I'm like,
wow,
my point exactly. You know, that
so
happens to you, right?
Not I wouldn't say only in Tulum, but ever since I got to Tulum, it's been happening where, yeah, I mean, I've been in Tulum for a long time, but even when I went home for a week, it happened to me back home when I was in New York City, and then I came back. But I think Tulum definitely opens you up to the possibility. So what do you think that is? What do you think that energy comes? What's so magical about Tulum?
I mean, have you looked at all of the sacred sculptures around us and the pyramids and like all of the amazing cenotes that we're like living on?
Okay.
I mean, yeah, this is super duper sacred land. I mean, they say that the Mayans, like this whole area up here north of Tulum was the last structures that they built before they just wiped off the land.
Really?
So they disappeared.
The Mayans disappeared.
That's what I heard from the grapevine. I could be gone. But like they built all of the pyramids up north right here, the sacred sites. And then like that was like the last stuff that they built before they just kind of like left. And no one knows if they were just extraterrestrial, like they just went off, or if they got killed off. Like it's just gone.
They're gone.
And these were the smallest ones that they built as well.
Right. Wow. Yeah, I think what is it? Chichen Itza is now a wonder of the world.
Yeah.
I still haven't been.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I actually met it's funny because I was there, and all these people were selling, and like the locals, like the families literally live off of their sales, and they have so many things for sale there. It's like they're selling all these like little nicks and knacks. And I walk up to a table, and it was an elder woman, and I just, for some reason, I looked at her and I thought to myself, I'm going to buy something from her. I'm supporting her today. All of a sudden I see this little casing, and I pick it up, and it's made of leather, and it has an art piece on it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my oil fits perfectly inside of this little keychain. And there's these little leather bags, like tiny little leather bags, and I ended up buying all of them from her that day. And I made a custom order for my community because I work with essential oils, and now I've been back and forth with her in communication to buy these artisanal products that they're making and supporting a local family, you know. And like she gets so excited. She calls me every month like, do you need another order? You know, and like it's really special. Chichen Itza is beautiful.
I like that. Yeah, can you hold on a second? So tell us about your essential oils. I mean, you put some on my palm in the beginning, and oh my God, it smells so good.
Yeah, you can still smell.
Yeah, I can still smell
some of it, right? Yeah.
Even with this wind, I can. It's like still there.
Yeah. They're rad. They're game changers. First off, I had no idea.
Well, put them right here.
How essential oils. Let's pull some out. Let's see. So what I brought today was for my own knee pain, because I got into a little scooter ding. So I brought these because these were the first two that I was introduced to with oils. Because I, for years, had a recurring knee injury, and I was a trainer, and I was teaching with a limp at the time. And my friend gave me frankincense and deep blue. This is a blend of oils, and then this is a single oil. This is a resin. They source this in Somalia in Africa. This is one of the highest vibrational plants and trees that you can work with. And it helps with inflammation, it helps with pain, it helps with cellular regeneration. I didn't believe it at first. I was like, yeah, there's no science, there's no evidence. Like Western medicine doesn't talk about this, blah, blah, blah. I needed to get out of my own head in my own construct to really understand the power of plant medicine, because this is what we were gifted with. And so this works on a cellular level, on a mental way. It like helps calm the nervous system. So copaiba, this is like a resin also that comes from Brazil. This works like a CBD. And so you can put a few drops on your tongue. You can apply it on your skin. It helps also with inflammation. It helps with the nervous system. So I brought oils that are just supporting my injury right now. But these also work really good for like just better sleep, making me feel better. I use it on my skin, if I have like any scars. So it's really cool. Like I've transformed my entire medicine cabinet, cleaning cabinet, first aid kit, my self-care regimen. I use oils as deodorants. I use oils for my hair masks, my face masks, my digestive issues. And I've started working with them about 4 years ago because I understood that this is ancient medicine.
Right.
This is what we used before the pills existed.
So how does the oil get made? Is extracted from the plant?
So they distill them.
Mhm.
They are extracted from the plant. So pretty much, depending on the kind of plant, because you source oils from like the resin, the root, the stem, the bark, the flower, the seed, the leaf. Each one is different. Like they use a heat distillation method or like a cold press extract method, and it pulls out the oil, and then they pretty much bottle it up. Oils will last. They usually last about like 4 or 5 years minimum, especially when they're not like exposed to high heat, which is why they're in these dark bottles.
4 or 5 years. That's really good.
Yeah, they last a long time. I think this expiration, I don't even know its expirations, but I mean, I go through a bottle, depending on the bottle, but usually a few months. Frankincense I use a lot. This is the oil that was gifted to Jesus when he was born.
What?
Yeah.
What is that called?
Frankincense. So just close your eyes and
Okay.
smell it.
Hold on.
Tune in with it. It's a super masculine scent. It's very grounding. It's very earthy.
Wow. It's good.
Yeah. They call it the holy oil. So when I put it in my water, it's like I'm drinking holy water. Not all oils are created equal, and that was something that I learned through this company, through doTERRA.
I was just going to ask you that. Yeah. How can you tell?
So I used to get them from Whole Foods and from different stores, and then I learned through doTERRA, there's no regulation of essential oils, so the FDA doesn't like test this or really look at it because it's considered a cosmetic. Pretty much it's like competition with the pharmaceutical company, so they're always going to stay like in that category.
Mhm.
But pure essential oils, they have the ability to go inside of our bodies. We can take them internally, we can apply them topically, we can also obviously smell them. They are the aromatherapy, but most companies are going to dilute them and mix them with fillers, adulterate the oils, fill them with chemicals. And then
Profit.
I don't know if you're the kind of person that I was, where I used to buy lavender scented detergent, sprays, Febreze, hand soap. Everything smelled like lavender, but I didn't even know what real lavender smelled like until I got pure lavender from doTERRA.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, it smells way better than all these synthetic versions, because what companies do, since they can't patent a plant,
Right.
they make a synthetic version in a lab, and then they're like, oh, it's the same thing, it's lavender, like same constitution, but it's not.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have the same effect on the body.
Yeah. Well, I also heard Monsanto is trying to start patenting crops or anything. But anyways, that's another story.
GMOs.
Yeah,
Exactly. That because it's all genetically modified. It's not
Right.
real anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I was gonna say something. So oils, how do I know, for example, I buy this and I say, oh, okay, this is better. There's really no way to tell, kind of?
There's like a couple companies that I would recommend. The one that I do recommend and I work with is doTERRA, because I started doing research. After I was shown these oils, I was like, okay, let me see what other companies are out there. And doTERRA, the way that they've created their business structure and the oil structure and harvesting the oils, it's very sacred. They work with farmers and agriculturists all over the world.
Mhm.
They source in over 40 countries, and they do third-party testing. So they test all of their oils, about 40 different tests, to make sure that we're getting 100% pure oils, because we are applying it topically and it is safe enough to take internally. So they created their own standard to make sure that they are meeting at least some sort of standard for people to be
Right.
working with them,
Nice.
working with the
Question:
oils.
do you think? Because I was listening to this one guy on YouTube.
Mhm.
He's this doctor guy, but he was saying how actually oils sometimes can be more beneficial than water, in a sense where when we drink water, it's good for us. But like, for example, when your skin is dehydrated, he was saying it could be because you're lacking water, but it could also be because you're lacking certain oils in your body. Because like, when your skin, for example, it's oily, like your skin lubricates itself with oils, your hair oils, your joints with oils. What do you think about that?
That's why fats are important for our diet.
Yeah.
That's what I got to say about that.
Right. Fats.
The fat-free diet in the 90s is like such a shitty
so
phase
bad.
that like companies came out. But anyway, I could
Yeah,
go on nutrition topic. But you know, oils are important for us to use. So that's a great question, because like, for example, if you are applying an oil on your skin and you accidentally get it in your eye, water isn't going to take it off. Oil is going to pull it out. So like, you mix oil with oil mix. Water and oil don't mix. So yeah, sometimes water can just like sip through, but then the oil's actually gonna, it's slower to absorb, and it stays on the skin longer. So
yeah, it stays in your skin longer, right? Yeah. Because well, does the oils get absorbed like within like the fats of the cells?
So it goes into the skin. So
Okay.
it's your skin is the biggest organ. It absorbs everything, and it absorbs 50 to 60% of everything you apply on your skin.
50 to yeah.
Yeah. So like all the sprays, chemicals, anything around in our environment, which is really important by our homes to not have toxins.
That's
so
a
even
great
living out
point.
here, I don't use any Fabuloso, no Clorox, no chemicals, no like, I'm hardcore essential oils for cleaning, for mopping, for internal use. And I actually created a course. That was when I came here. I was like, all right, music, water, and oils. I realized that no one really has a course on how to use oils for lifestyle.
So do you clean with oils?
Yeah.
But like, do you
my own hand sanitizer, my own cleaning spray, my own mopping, like for the bucket. Yeah. Oils.
So you put oil in like the water bucket?
Yeah. Lemon
okay.
oil, citruses. It's a degreaser. There's a blend of oils for immune support. So I use On Guard. That's actually, so when I had my explant surgery, the doctor approved me not to take antibiotics, and instead I took oils internally.
What?
Yeah.
What a nice doctor.
Best doctor ever.
Where was this?
He gets
in Miami?
it. Miami. He gets
Shout
it.
him out. Shout him out.
Dr. Dev, Aquaplastics. I've given him a lot of referrals. A lot of people have worked with him ever since.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful for him because he gets it. Like, he knows that there's alternatives, and he's not super closed into that. And I don't want to mess with my biome anymore. I don't want to take antibiotics unless like I absolutely need it. And I've tried every single other alternative, right? It's like, that's like my last resort. So yeah, I take oils internally in veggie caps, and I do a lot of education on my social media and in Reels and TikTok on how to use oils for lifestyle, and I help people learn how to do it. So that's been my side project right now these last few months, is creating a course to give you like just short, easy ways that you can clean with the oils, swap out easy medicines, cabinet swaps for skincare, for digestive care, for sleep, just like common things that we typically use over-the-counter synthetic stuff for that we just don't need. We don't need exposure to these toxins.
I know. I think that, yeah. I think I would also like to have some of these oils maybe in some of these zero waste places and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That'd be such a good idea.
Yeah.
People can just
100%.
use what they need.
Yeah. Less toxins, less products. Like, if you can DIY stuff and use nature, like, why not?
Yeah.
You know, it's changing our lifestyle though. It is thinking outside the box, because I think a lot of us are conditioned. Like, you feel sick, go to the doctor. Oh, you need blah blah blah, like go to this store and go to this pharmacy,
or buy some cleaning supplies, and you have a cleaning for this, cleaning for that, cleaning for so many things, a different product for so many. But you can use certain product. For example, I use like vinegar, like apple cider vinegar, or like the white vinegar to clean. You can clean, and it cleans everything.
Yeah, just add a little bit of oils and makes it smell amazing.
No chemicals, just vinegar. Vinegar will clean everything. You can add some oil to that and help with that, and do it yourself. And it feels so much better, especially when you're eating something that's more natural and more pure. We were talking about this the other day, and yes, maybe it might be a little bit more expensive, but you use less of it and you feel better with it. You don't need a lot more of this toxic thing.
I had a cleaning lady in my house the other day. She tried to pull out the Fabuloso. She tried.
See.
Like, I walked in and the bucket was like upstairs on the other side of my apartment. I'm like, no, there's chemicals in my house. Like, it has to go right now.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm so sensitive now to synthetics, and I'm just like, I don't want exposure to any of it, because if you're walking around your house barefoot, I mean, I did this, you guys, for years. I did this for so long. I'd clean my bath with Comet, with bleach.
Yeah.
I'd let it soak.
My dad does that too.
Scrub it clean, rinse it, and then I'd fill it up with water and bubbles and lay in it. Take a bath. It's like clean your floor with Clorox, and then you walk around barefoot. You clean your counters with disinfecting spray to make sure you're getting all the germs off, but then you're actually absorbing all these chemicals into your skin because you're touching it.
Go ahead. No,
Same thing with hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer, ever since the pandemic started, has been the most toxic thing for our bodies. It is an endocrine disruptor. It harms our thyroid, our hormonal system. It imbalances us, and it's the last thing that we need to be using. Like, superbugs are being created because we have so many antibacterials and antibiotics. So use plant-based products that are antiviral, antibacterial, and actually support our body's immune system, not destroy it.
I hate going into somewhere, a market or a store, and they make you put the antibacterial thing.
I say no every time.
Yeah, I say no. So even like when I go into like a Chidari, and then like they scan me, and then they're like, okay, and I pretend to.
Yeah.
I pretend to get the
I'll
thing.
give you one. I have an On Guard one.
Okay.
That you can have, so you can always have it with you.
Yeah.
It's in my keychain. Like, I always have one.
It's so crazy. Yeah, I mean, they also talk about, for example, like the Lysol. It kills 99% of germs, but then like the ones that survive are also the worst ones too. And you're killing off the good things with the bad things. But
Yeah.
You're mostly killing off the good stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like this fear of, we're living in fear.
We're not designed to live like that. Like, get dirty, get your feet in the mud. Like, children are meant to be playing outside. If your kids are, and whatever, I don't want to put that on anyone, but like if our children are always in boxed up homes, not exposed to anything, the minute that we do, we're going to get super sick because our bodies aren't exposed enough to have a strong immune system anymore. So it's doing our bodies a disservice, and it's not allowing us to evolve how we should. You know?
I had seen this one guy post that not a single country in the world has taken this COVID situation to talk about health, to talk about how to improve health, right? Yeah. It's all about, no, stay home, stay protected, don't talk to anyone, all these things. But no one has really said, hey, like, let's educate people on health. Like, why is that? Yeah, I mean, we know why. We know why that is.
Social media, I'm grateful for those that are on this path to share wellness and share health. And, we all have different opinions and whatnot, but I think that we're all stepping forward and sharing our lifestyle and sharing, hey, this is how I do this. This is what I do. This is what works for me, and giving people the opportunity to find alternative ways.
I think this is also a big wake-up call for people to realize that we need to be honest with ourselves and look at the information from an outside point of view, and not just say, well, this is the way things are, because information is always changing, and to blame people and to get mad at people for things that you don't agree with, it's not the right approach.
Yeah. It's so easy to do this, and you're wrong, and you did this and you did that, and and my way is right. And I think that goes back to like separation and division, and like, why not listen to each other? Why not agree to disagree sometimes? Like, that's okay too. Like, we obviously are multifaceted humans, and we all create our own reality in our own way. So, you have the freedom to live as you wish. It's your life.
Or do we have the freedom?
Just, I do me, you do you, boo.
Nice. I like that. Yeah. All right. I think, do you want to talk about anything else? What are you passionate about? What are you enthusiastic about?
Everything we just talked about. Wow. Yeah. I mean, this is my dharma. This is my path. Music is definitely something that I think I'm getting more comfortable putting out there, and I'm grateful for Tulum, because I don't think many people in Miami even knew that I did music. And then most people in Tulum know that I do music, and they know me more for music than anything else. And so it's really beautiful to be in that space right now where I can just feel more open and more free to just be myself and share and explore the things that I want to explore. Because in the US, I felt so like I have to follow this path and this work and do this and do that. And it's like,
Yeah.
creative freedom, you know?
I think Tulum gives you that space to just be yourself, where people aren't really judging you. They're kind of supporting you. They're collaborating with you. They want to, because people come here with their own projects and their own needs and their own desires to get better or to work on certain things. So they're not here coming from a judgment point of view. They're like, hey, like if you want to, take photos on the beach, like go do it. If you want to dress up like a Tuluminati and like show yourself out, go right ahead, do it. Amazing, good for you.
Yeah, I love that about Tulum. And so that's what I'm really passionate about, is just working in these high vibrational with these tools and in these spaces that just hold space for myself and for others that want to explore that with me and have fun with it.
Yeah. Would you want to work with people on some projects, on some other things, or?
Yeah, I'm actually very open with music and doing that. Right now, my mission is to really launch this oils course that I'm going to be doing. So I'm simplifying it and creating this program and just kind of automating that system a little bit more so that I can play more and do bigger events.
Nice.
Like I really enjoy doing events, and I've been doing a lot with Soulful Sundays and with Justin and that community to bring more awareness and education. And I love that I've been able to fuse it all together, and Tulum's really allowed me to do that, like with sound and aromatherapy and doing water blessings and like combining them all together. So it's super special. Yeah, you have to come to one of my experiences.
All right, cool. Yeah. So is there going to be a website for your course? Yeah.
So my site is feedmehealth.com, and I'm going to be revamping that when I finish this, and I'm kind of like bridging all of my courses back together. lunafast.com if anyone wants to fast with us. We host it every new moon. Right now we are on day 1 of our fast. So we start water on Sunday.
Okay.
And yeah, any questions, education, it's usually on my channel, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Those are the main 3 ones that I use, Feed Me Health. And I'm here to answer any questions. I work with private clients also, usually like 3 months, average 2 to 3 months, to really help them. My specialty is more in like weight loss and helping have a healthier relationship with food, but it's all stemmed from self-love.
Okay. Yeah, that's self-love. That's what it's all about, right?
That's where it's at.
All right, cool. Well, thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you for picking this amazing location. Oh my God, we've been facing the wrong direction this whole time.
We have, but we know everyone's getting a great view.
Everyone's watching us. So yeah, they're like enjoying. Wow, it's so beautiful. It's so calming. It's not too windy today.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for doing this. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I'm trying to get people's stories out and to the world, and here in Tulum, and creating this community of people. And yeah, hopefully, people who are on the podcast can also see my other guests, and a lot of you have the same mindset, right? So yeah, maybe we can eventually create a community together and make something happen. That's maybe where I can take it.
I think we are.
Yeah?
I think Tulum is not that big. I think a lot of the people that I've seen so far that you've like posted about, I'm like, oh, like I know that person. I know this person. Or, oh, I didn't know that person. Maybe, we all have what you're saying. Like we have similar gifts, and like you are creating that too by just being you and putting us all together in your podcast. So
who knows?
Thank you.
Who knows the future of the podcast, where it can lead us. And yeah, because I'm super social. I'm a connector. I like meeting people with similar mindsets. And yeah, maybe eventually, we can do like after like maybe for an anniversary, we can do like a reunion of all the guests.
It'd be beautiful. Yeah.
That's what I just
do
thought
a really
of that.
Cool activation.
Yeah, an activation where everyone that was on the podcast can come and we can talk and connect,
network and share. Connect. Yeah.
Look out for that next year. What is it? Where are we? April?
Yeah.
I don't even know what month this is. Tulum.
Time is irrelevant.
Yeah, time does not exist here, or it definitely manifests itself very different.
It's very different, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you're still here, thank you for listening, and thank you for being my guest.
Yay! Thank you for having me.
All right, and we are done.
Peace.
Peace. Peace. Peace. Peace.